Hi guys, it's been a while. Uh, it's getting cold outside, so I wanted to talk hats with you guys. I don't really have any knitting tips, but we're going to talk hats for a few minutes, and then I will give you knitting tips, or if you send messages, I will be glad to answer them, or whatever you would like. Okay, so first, let's start out with a sport to worsted weight. Now this is just a plain simple sport worsted weight. I make my hats. Um, I'm a very loose knitter, so I knit heavier weight on smaller needles because I like the fabric that it makes. This is a worsted, and I will show you. This is you might not be able to see that because it's so dark outside. I've tried to get some light in here, but you can't really see. And this is a fingering. The brown is a fingering, and the yellow is a worsted to a sport. It says it's worsted, but I think it's more sport. But we'll go with, they're pretty close. Okay, the brown is called, this brown color, which you can't see. Oh, let me hold it up here, maybe you can see. It's called milk chocolate. And my dear husband, picked that out. And if you'll excuse me for a minute, I'm going to turn the light on and see if that'll help. The windows are open, but it's dark outside. Now that helped. Okay. Now we can see a little better. Is that better? Good. Okay, this is called milk chocolate, and it's a fingering, right? And this is just sunshine yellow. And sometimes when I have just a little bit of yarn left over, I make a hat. And the hats I make, I live in it used to be a middle income neighborhood, and it's not so much anymore. And I see a lot of people that are not too far from our area that could use a hat. So what I do is I make, like this little yellow one is not going anywhere that I know of. What I do is I put a zippered bag that's see-through in my tree around this time of year when it starts getting cold, and I throw all these extra hats that I've made in, and I put a sign on it and say if you need a hat, take a hat. If you don't, leave it for somebody else. And then if they don't go pretty soon, and everybody I think has pretty much drove by and got a hat that needed one, then I'll take them up to where the shelters are, and just hand them out to anybody that wants one. So this little yellow hat will be going in that pile. And what I do, like I said before, I am a very loose knitter, extremely loose, I've been told. So I always have to go down a needle or two when I'm knitting a pattern, somebody else's pattern. And so I don't like the fabric that you get when, say, you're knitting with a worsted. Okay, let me pull this over here. This is an alpaca, and it's a bulky. It's a 5. It says bulky 5 right there, and it suggests, if I can see, a US 10 needle right there. A US 10 needle and a 6mm or US. Boy, my eyes are 3/10 crochet hook. Can you see that? Your eyes may be better than mine. Maybe you can see that. Okay. Anyway, this is a bulky. Now, on this bulky, with this bulky yarn, if I was going to knit this same hat, I would probably use a size 4 or 5 because I like the dense fabric. I like the stitch definition that you get from it. If I'm knitting with a worsted weight, I sometimes will knit with a US, and these are US sizes, a US 2 or a 3. Sometimes, if I'm really trying to get a few hats out quickly, I will knit with a 4. So I always knit with a lot smaller needle than called for. You will have to adjust for yourself. And my hats are usually about 80 to 100 stitches. I knit 15 to 20 rows here, 25 20 to 25 rolls in the body of the hat, and then if it's 120 stitches, then I will knit 10, knit 2 together, knit a roll, knit 9, knit 2 together, knit a roll until I get down to pretty much just 6 to 12 stitches, and then I run my needle through it twice, cinch it up, and work the ends in. And this, now that I've got it folded over there like that, it looks a little bit like those, I don't know what they're called, knockers. I think they call them knockers. They're the booby things, the women that's had breast removal surgery done so they can put something in there. So this is the way the top, can you see that now? This is the way the top looks. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sections. So with 10 sections, I would say this is probably 100 stitch count. That's pretty normal for me. Okay, now this is called milk chocolate. It's a Loopy U discontinued color. And I got it for a really good price. And my husband asked me to make his crew at work hats for their Christmas presents. And it's the same principle. I did 120 stitches on a size US 1 or 1.5 needle. I don't change the stitches. I don't change needles for the ribbing on these. I mean, you can, but I don't. Ribbing tends to pull in a little bit anyway. As you can see with it laying there, you can see that the ribbing area pulls in a little. So I don't bother with changing the needles. Now on sweaters I do, but these simple little hats that, like my son, he wants black hats, like this yellow one. And he would go through a dozen a year if I made them. So he gets 3 or 4 of those every year for Christmas. And he wears them out. He's rough on them. His father tends to do that too. You know, they grab the hat, instead of just putting it on their head, it's like they curl it up and jerk it down around their ears. And then before long, the ribbing looks really bad and we just throw them away or whatever they do with them. I don't know. They go to the missing hat section. So there are 7. It's quite a pile. We got 7 of the, and it's called milk chocolate. And the company's logo happens to be orange and brown, so that worked out really well. And I got that for a good price, and it didn't take but I think I knitted on it a week, maybe a little over a week to do 7. Of course, I am obsessed with my knitting. As anyone that knows me can attest to, I talk knitting all the time. So if you have family members like I do that don't talk knitting with you, that don't care about your knitting, then hit me up. We'll talk knitting. I'll be glad to talk knitting with you. Any part of it. I've been knitting for quite a while now, so we'll talk knitting. Okay, that's the simple hats. Okay, well, let's see. What do you want to see next? Headbands are becoming a big thing. And these are some of the headbands that I have in my pile. These are wool or superwash or bits and pieces of just whatever I have around. I think that's, no, I have one more. And that's a smaller one. Let's see, we'll go through them. This one is larger, and I grafted the inside. So what I did was I knit, I checked out my pattern, what I was going to do, and this is my pattern. The chart is mine. So this is a pink and charcoal, and I knit my pattern. I started out, I guesstimated or counted half the rows, and I did half the rows in plain pink, and then I worked my chart, and then I did the other half of the rows, and then I grafted them together. And I don't know what happened there. I think the edge cut worked in, but it looks pretty, doesn't look as bad on camera as I think it looks, but I'm bad about that. Just like, oh, there's everything. Let's look at everything and critique it. So I'm hard on it. So this is the pink and gray, and it's a little bit larger because my daughter-in-law says that she doesn't like them tight. She likes them really loose, and this is loose on me, but it does feel good. And I tried to make these. Let's see. They're about, upside down. This one is right at 4 inches. So 4 inches is a little wider than most headbands are made, but it is a good size. And that's just 2-color. And then this one is a 2-color headband. It's also the black and the sort of a teal. And I did it the same way. You can see where I grafted the pieces together. And that one's also right at 3.5 inches. And that one is probably my favorite size. If I had to pick a size, the 3.5 inch is what I like. And it is with color work. It's 18 inches around, and it stretches out. Let's see if we can stretch it out, because most people's heads are not 18 inches, but let's see. It'll go all the way to almost 24 inches. So it'll be about 22 inches. It goes 18 to 22 inches. So it increases about 4 inches. And that's a pretty standard size. Now this one is all wool. And it's also grafted in the middle. And it's a little bit more narrow. It's right at 3 inches. And we're back to about the 18 inch. That is all little bits and pieces of wool where I've made sweaters. And the best thing you can do is just get you a bucket, a Ziploc bag, a box, anything, and put your little pieces in. You see this orange right here? That was just a little bitty ball. That's one right in the middle. And then this orange is also out here, and that's the teal. But it doesn't have to be a lot of yarn. You may just be using it as an accent piece in the middle and do 2 rows of color. But the good thing is, too, is you don't have to worry about making your, on the inside, let me point this out. When you're doing color work and you're doing a headband like this, you don't have to worry about working all those pieces in and making it hard to find, because it's going to be sandwiched in there. I just sort of work mine in, and sometimes I even leave the tail on it so that if they pull it, then it doesn't make a mess. But it's all hidden. It's inside. You don't have to worry about that one. Oh, I wanted to point out something else on this one. See how this one lays a little prettier? Okay, so I did half the stitches, and then I did a purl row. And then I did my color work, and then another purl row, and half the stitches. So it lays a little better, a little flatter. These roll just a little bit because I just continued to knit, and I didn't do a purl row, which I probably should have done. I like them better with the purl row. But it's to each knitter, to each their own. There's nothing wrong with them. And this one is a child's, and it's just the bits and pieces still. And, yep, right there. It's, I don't think it's the same pattern as that one, but it could be. Maybe, is it? Yeah, it is. It really is. It's the same pattern. So that'll tell you how different it looks in different colors. This one you can't hardly see in the dark here, but this is the same pattern. And this one is, okay, this one I did different. So I knit all the orange and did my purl row on this side, and then I did all my color work and did a purl row. And I bound off. And then I took my needle and just whip stitched the edge, which doesn't look bad. Whip stitched the edge there. And of course your ends are still enclosed inside, but the inside doesn't have that graft. So I may work on just doing more of this and figuring out a better way to attach the edge. So that's all the headbands. Okay, this is going on for a few minutes. but it's cold, and I wanted to talk hats with you guys. Okay, next, these are my Christmas hats, and it is a one of the like the stocking hats, and it takes quite a bit of yarn, but it's pretty long. It's pretty much my standard. You find a chart you like, and go from there. It doesn't have to be that hard. You don't have to make color work, knitting, and hats that hard. You find your pattern, see how many times it'll go in around. You're wanting about 100 to 120. You do your ribbing, you do your color work here. Turn this inside so you can see. Do your color work. Just keep it going around. And then pick one color or the other. You could have went back with this up here and changed to the blue and just had a little bit of orange. We live in Colorado, so yeah, I do a lot of the Bronco colors. It is Bronco orange and blue. And then you buy your little pack of pom-poms. These little, and I tie them on the end. And of course these have been mashed down, which they need fluff back up. But that's it. That's just a simple, and you can make this for anybody in the family. A man or a woman can wear them, and it can be team colors or favorite colors, or you can put as many graphs on it as you would like. Here's one, same kind. This one is hearts. So it's pink, hot pink, and white, and it is, you just, you decrease on either side like you do a toe for a sock. Let me pull this down here where you can see it a little better. Hi, baby. That's my boxer. He's coming to say hello. And it's almost time for his daddy to be home, so he's letting me know. So I decrease. This is slip, slip, knit, which leans left, knit two together, which leans right. And then I do that on either side of the halfway mark on both sides. And then I knit around, and then the next round I decrease. And I do that until I get to the very tip edge here, like just like you do a sock or just like you do the other hats. And up here, you know, you could, what I did with these to make it not as drastic a decrease, I decreased a row and knit two rows, decreased a row and knit two rows. That way you've got a pretty good taper, and it's a pretty nice hat. And you know, some people like this type of hat, so I can't wait to see someone wear this one as well. Okay, I just have two more, and then I will shut up. And these are my Fisherman's cap, and the pattern is Annie Sinclair. You can go to Fisherman's Cap website on Facebook. It is a private group, but you can ask them to join, and they'll ask you a few questions about color work or why you want to knit color work, and you just answer the questions, and they'll let you join. And there's a PayPal account where you can purchase your pattern, and it gives you the working knowledge. It doesn't actually give you a pattern, it gives you a recipe, and it gives you charts that you can to fill out. Like this has so many stitches between each repeat, and this does, and then you taper them down and taper it down and taper it down until you get to smaller and smaller, and then you just adjust the top to what is pleasing to you. Now I wanted to explain what a cap is. It is actually a cap, but they call it a cap. It's from Scandinavia. I don't know. Norway, Scandinavia. It's I should know before I talk about this, but I don't. But you put a ribbing. So this is a rib. You knit this, do the rib, the rest of the hat, the recipe for all this, and then you flip this up. And some people tack this down. I don't. When you wear it, it lays flat because it stretches it out, but it gives you that extra band of warmth around your ears. And like I said, you can go to Fair Isle Fisherman's Cap on Facebook and join the group and get your pattern and get started. And it's a lovely bunch of ladies, and everybody is willing to help everyone else. And I call this one peppercorn because it has all the colors of peppercorns. So that's that one. Here's one that's a little bit shorter in the top. It's just bits and pieces. Here we come back to just tiny bits and pieces. And then the inside is a variegated rust, which goes with the rest of the colors on the outside. You don't have to match them, but you can. That one's rust. This one is greens and golds and creams and purples. It's got some purples in it. And the inside is the forest green. So they are very comfortable. They are long wearing, and they have that extra band, which helps keep your ears warm. Don't you love that? Okay, one more, and then we'll get to any questions. I know we've got some new subscribers, and I want to say welcome. You can catch me pretty much as Woolly Cricket on everything. I am Woolly Cricket everywhere on all social medias. So come say hi. Be my friend. This is a bonnet. Let's see if I can get this where you can see it. There it is. And it's got little ears. I put little ears on it. And it's like a child's bonnet. It has the V here at the neck. Let me untie this. Got it packaged up to go. A girl's coming by to pick it up. It's a commission piece. And it's got the rib around to hold the face. This panel here is plain, and then it decreases just like the crown of the other sunshine yellow hat. And you knit the ears separately, and you just whip stitch them on, you see? Okay, all right. Then what I did was I worked 100 stitches in I-cord, and then I did the attached I-cord around the back of the neck, and then did 100 stitches on the I-cord on here, and worked my ends in, and this little hat is ready to go. Now, one other thing that I would like your opinion on, because I think I'm going to write this up, and then I think as well as that, I am going to do a rib, this band right in between my fingers here. What dirty fingernails. I've been outside with the puppy, and he was playing with another puppy, and I got my hands all dirty trying to untangle them, so sorry for the dirty fingernails there. I didn't know they were that nasty. Sorry. From this area to this area where you are just straight, I'm thinking about putting a color work band. I know that bonnets are considered children's hats, but I also think that if you didn't put ears on it, and I know a lot of kids nowadays or young adults wear things with ears, but if you made this and did not put ears on it, whoop, no focus. Come on, focus. Oh, why it's not going to focus? Huh, maybe the hat, the color. But let me do my. Come on, camera. There you go. There's my dry hands. And I don't know. It doesn't want to focus right now. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened to it. It just, there it went. Okay. Sometimes these cameras are just not great. But I thought, okay, this part is going to fit right here. This in the middle. Turn it this way. This part in the middle is going to fit around the back of your neck. If you make an adult size, then you're still getting a hat that you can tie around your face when it's really cold and the wind and snow, rain, everything is blowing in on you, and you can tie it around your face. Tie it on. It will keep more of your head covered, which is where you lose most of your heat anyway. So today we talked about hats. I'd like to know what kind you like, what you'd like to learn to make, what you're already making, and what you think about me making adult bonnets with color work around the face. to leave the ribbing off and put just color work, or to add the ribbing and then a band of color work and then the crown. So I would love to hear from you. I miss everybody. Sorry, that's messages coming in, but I miss talking to you guys. And let me know what you'd like to see and what you'd like to work on. Maybe, excuse me, maybe I can help. Who knows? If I can't, then I know a lot of people that have knitted longer than me, more experienced than I am, and maybe they can help. But stay warm. I'll talk to you guys soon, and thank you for subscribing to my channel. Bye.